Regret number one, neglecting my health until it was too late. When I was younger, I thought I was invincible. Late nights, fast food, skipping workouts, none of it seemed to matter. I told myself, I'll take care of my health later. Right now, I have more important things to do. But later never came. Back then, my body bounced back quickly. I could go days without proper sleep and still function. I could eat whatever I wanted without gaining much weight. But I didn't realize that every bad habit was like a small crack in a foundation. Invisible at first, but over time, those cracks grew until they couldn't be ignored. I remember the moment it hit me. I was in my early 50s when I felt a sharp pain in my chest while climbing the stairs. Just a few years earlier, I could run up those stairs without a second thought. But that day, I had to stop, out of breath, gripping the railing, feeling something wasn't right. That small moment led to a doctor's visit. The news? High blood pressure, high cholesterol, pre-diabetes, diseases that could have been prevented if I had just taken care of myself earlier. What I wish I knew. Your body is not a machine that runs forever without maintenance. Every small decision adds up. Every soda, every missed workout, every night of poor sleep, it all matters. I wish someone had told me that the habits I formed in my 20s and 30s would determine my quality of life in my 50s, 60s, and beyond. I thought taking care of myself meant just avoiding sickness. I was wrong. True health isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about feeling strong, energetic, and pain-free as you age. It's about being able to play with your grandkids, travel, enjoy life without being held back by your own body. The hardest part? Regret. Now I watch younger people making the same mistakes I did. I see them skipping meals, living off energy drinks, ignoring sleep, brushing off the idea of exercise, and I want to shake them and say, please don't make the same mistake I did. You don't feel the consequences now, but trust me, they're coming. The hardest part about regret is knowing that I can't go back and fix it. No matter how much I wish I could talk to my younger self, no matter how much I wish I had started earlier, I can't. But you still can. What you can do now, move daily. It doesn't have to be extreme. Walk, stretch, lift some weights. Just keep your body active. Eat better. Avoid processed foods. Eat more whole, natural foods. Your body will thank you later. Prioritize sleep. It's not a waste of time. It's when your body heals and rebuilds. Don't ignore stress. Mental health is just as important as physical health. If I had done these simple things earlier, I wouldn't be sitting here now, looking back with regret. You still have time. Take care of your health now, so you don't have to wish you had later. Regret number two, prioritizing work over family. When I was younger, I believed success meant working harder, making more money, climbing the career ladder. I thought that if I provided well for my family, that was enough. I told myself, I'll spend time with them later. Right now, I need to focus on building a better future for us. I worked late nights, answered emails during dinner, and took business calls on vacations. I convinced myself that missing birthdays, anniversaries, and my kids' school plays was just part of the sacrifice. After all, wasn't I doing it all for them? Then one day I came home to a quiet house. My kids were grown. My wife had learned to live without my presence. And I realized that while I was busy chasing success, life had moved on without me. The moment I realized my mistake, I remember one specific evening. My son had a Little League baseball game. I had promised him I would be there. He looked up at me that morning, eyes full of excitement, and said, "You're coming this time, right, Dad?" I smiled and said, "Of course, buddy." But then a last-minute work call came up. "Just this once," I told myself. "He'll understand." That night, I came home late and saw his baseball glove lying by the door. He was already asleep. My wife didn't say anything. She didn't need to. I had broken a promise again. That was years ago. He's a grown man now with his own life. And do you know what hurts the most? I don't remember what was so important that day at work, but I will never forget the look on his face the next morning when he said, "It's okay, Dad. I know you're busy." At the time, I thought he forgave me. But what he really did was stop expecting me to show up. What I wish I knew, success is not measured by the hours you work or the money in your bank account. It's measured by the memories you make, the relationships you build, the love you give and receive. Your job will replace you in a week if you leave, but your family, they can never replace the moments you weren't there for. The hardest part? Time doesn't wait. I used to think, I'll make time later, but later never comes. The kids grow up, parents grow old, relationships fade, and one day you look up and realize you missed it. Now I sit in a big house that I worked so hard for, but it feels empty. The people I was working for learned to live their lives without me, and no amount of success, no promotion, no paycheck can fill that void. What you can do now: put your phone down. When you're with family, be present. Work will always be there. Your loved ones won't. Schedule family time like it's the most important meeting of your life, because it is. Don't wait for later. Call your parents, play with your kids, have dinner with your spouse. These are the moments that truly matter. Remember, money can buy things, but it can't buy back time. If I could go back, I would trade every overtime shift, every late-night email, every extra project for just one more ordinary evening at home with my family. But I can't. You still can. Regret number 3, letting fear hold me back. When I was young, I had dreams bigger than the small town I grew up in. I wanted to travel, start my own business, take risks, and truly live. But every time an opportunity came my way, I hesitated. What if I failed? What if people laughed at me? What if I wasn't good enough? So instead of chasing my dreams, I settled for what was safe. I took the secure job, followed the predictable path, and convinced myself that it was better to be comfortable than to risk failure. The day I realized my fear had trapped me, I once had a chance to start my own business. A close friend of mine was ready to invest. We had a solid plan, and for a brief moment I let myself believe I could do it. Then the fear crept in. What if it doesn't work? What if I lose everything? What if I embarrass myself? I told my friend, maybe now isn't the right time. He nodded and said, all right, but if you ever change your mind, let me know. I never did. A few years later, he started the business on his own. Today, it's a massive success. And I'm still stuck in the same routine wondering, what if? What I wish I knew, I used to think failure was the worst thing that could happen. But do you know what's worse? Regret. Regret follows you. It whispers in your ear when you see others living the life you once dreamed of. It reminds you of all the chances you didn't take. And worst of all, it never goes away. Fear lies to you. Fear told me I wasn't ready, but you're never truly ready. No one is. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent. It's courage. Fear told me I'd embarrass myself, but no one cares as much as you think they do. People are too busy worrying about their own lives to judge yours. Fear told me failure was permanent, but failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. The hardest truth? Time runs out. I used to think I had all the time in the world. Next year I'll start. When I have more money, I'll do it. When the timing is perfect, I'll take the risk. But years flew by, and now looking back, I realize that the perfect time never comes. The only time you have is now. What you can do. Now do the thing that scares you. Take the leap. Whether it's starting a business, moving to a new city, or learning a new skill, just start. Stop waiting for permission. No one is coming to push you forward. You have to choose to move. Understand that failure is part of success. Every successful person you admire has failed multiple times. Failing doesn't mean you're done, it means you're learning. Ask yourself, if I don't do this now, will I regret it in 10 years? If the answer is yes, go for it. If I could go back, I'd tell my younger self, you'll survive the failures, but you won't survive the regret of never trying. And if you're reading this now, let this be your sign. Go after the life you want before it's too late. Regret number 4, neglecting the people who truly mattered. When I was younger, I thought success meant everything. I chased after achievements, promotions, money, things that made me feel important. But in the process, I ignored the people who actually made my life meaningful. I always told myself, I'll make time later. Later to visit my parents. Later to call my childhood friends. Later to spend quality time with my spouse and kids. But later never came. The phone call that changed everything. I remember one night when my mom called. I was busy with work, drowning in emails, trying to meet a deadline. I saw her name on the screen and thought, I'll call her back tomorrow. Tomorrow came, and I forgot. The next day, I got another call, this time from my sister. Mom's in the hospital. I rushed there, but by the time I arrived, she was too weak to talk. She just smiled at me, her eyes full of love, full of memories. I held her hand and said, I'm here. But deep inside, I knew. I had already been gone for years. She passed away 2 days later, and the pain of that missed phone call still haunts me. What I wish I knew, I used to think I was too busy to make time for people. But the truth is, we make time for what truly matters to us. I used to believe my family and friends would always be there, but the harsh reality is, people don't wait forever. I used to assume that work, money, and success were the most important things in life. But on the day my mom died, I would have given up every dollar I had just to have one more conversation with her. Don't make the same mistake. Call your parents, even if it's just for 5 minutes. They won't be here forever. Spend time with your kids. They won't remember how much money you made, but they'll remember if you were there for them. Reconnect with old friends. Life gets busy, but true friendships are rare. Don't let them slip away. Put your phone down. Be present when you're with the people you love. The world won't end if you don't check your emails for an hour. The most painful regret, I've lost money before, but I made it back. I've failed in business, but I tried again. But the people I lost, they never came back. If I could go back, I would tell my younger self, stop waiting for later. Make time for the people who love you before it's too late. And if you're reading this right now, take this as a reminder. Call them, visit them, hug them, before you only have memories left.